Girls, you did a beautiful job. The harmony that came through then was delightful. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to introduce to you this morning Donald McMurray. Now, if you haven't already met Don, he has been attending this church for some weeks now. I have gotten to know Don a little better from attending our Sabbath class down here. A testimony of how he became an Adventist. Without telling you too much about Don, I found out that he is a newly baptised member after attending Pastor Leo Scriven's evangelistic program recently. And Don tells me he just lives around the corner from where our new church building is going to be. Isn't that exciting? Thank you, Don.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Donald McMurray. Can you hear me? I was born in Bathurst, and when I was a naughty kid, you'd have to be sent outside at school when it was snowing, so I was always naughty, playing in the snow when everyone else was doing their work. I moved to Sydney when I was 6 with my mum and dad and the other kids, and I had a good time. I started where we lived on the fringe of a bush, so from the age of 6 I was a bush warrior. I'd play with the bush. When other kids had cats and dogs, I'd have frill-neck lizards and geckos and all sorts of things, but I'd recycle them every week or two so they wouldn't die, and that was pretty cool. When I was in 4th class, I got dared to kiss a girl, and you think, oh yeah, that's not too bad, but with me it ended up getting 6 cuts of the cane on both hands and blood blisters. I ran away for a few days down the bush where I knew where I could survive and I could live inside the caves that I found down there. A little while later, when I was about in year 4, I got sexually abused for 18 months by a neighbour, and I became introverted. I wouldn't talk to anyone, I wouldn't do anything, so I became an attack full of bullying. So from year 5 to year 7, I was bullied all the time. Now, in that time, I was very angry and I was hitting out, so I used to break into places. I used to steal things, steal cars. Well, not cars, I'd get into tractors and start them up, the big graders, and drive them around. I couldn't steal them because they were too big. I used to steal money. I stole money from my church. And I'm not proud of this, but this is what happens when you're not happy. And then I told a lie to a girl when I was 14. I said I was a push bike rider and racing, and I didn't do that. My friends did. And I liked this girl, so I decided to do something about it. I'd go to the Methodist church in North Rocks, and while I'm walking, my mum would make us walk down there every Sunday. And my Sunday school teacher happened to own a push bike shop. So after a short time, I had a free push bike, and because I'd meet down there, I'd be trained by professional push bikers. So actually I lived out a lie that changed my life forever, that I stopped lying after that because I got into too much trouble, and I became a better person. And when I was 15, I went to a Billy Graham crusade, and I gave my life to Jesus, saying that I'll do everything I can. But as a kid, you just say these things, but do you really mean it? So after that, I was great in push bikes. I used to get the trophies and pick out what trophy I want, and I'd either win first, second or third, depending how good the trophy was for that race. When I turned 19, I had a few crashes in the push bike. I had a few head injuries, and when I was 21, I had another injury with a motorcycle. I should have died. I should have died 3 times, but I prayed to God, and I woke up in hospital still alive, and I owed him a lot that I was still alive. I then got into drugs. I had a 37-year drug habit with marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, all these. I never went to heroin because I saw people that were my friends and they died from heroin, so I kept to the softer drugs and not the hard drugs, but some of these drugs were pretty hard. And I had a lot of trouble doing things. I remember buying my first unit. It took me 3 months just to do the paperwork, and I thought I'd never do it. I couldn't understand why, but I did later. And then I went up to Queensland and moved to Queensland, had a few babies up there, then came back. My wife was pregnant. She had placenta previa, so we ended up staying down in Sydney for 10 months until that baby was born premature. All my babies have been 35 weekers, so I've got 4, and they're all going really well now. They're all teenagers and growing up. I then I was exercising, but I wasn't going really well. I was 120 kilos in weight, and I broke my own leg on purpose. That's another story. I decided to go to Queensland for a makeover. And while I was up there, I started getting contact with God again and Jesus. And as I started running along the beach, after 3 months, I went down from 120 kilos down to 84 kilos. And I could run 26K in one hit. I was doing that every day. And so when I came back, I was physically, mentally and spiritually changed, and my family didn't recognise me. My wife said I was too thin and looked like a ghost. And then when I came back, a friend said, oh, we're going to go see Leo Shreven. So I went over to see Leo Shreven, and he was talking about walking across America. And I thought he was talking to me. I thought, that's why God was building me up. I've got to go for a walk with Leo. But that didn't happen. I saw Leo 7 times while I was down here, and he baptised me in the Gosford Church about 18 months ago. And since then, I was on a journey. We're all on a journey, but where does it lead? Well, my journey is leading me to God and to Jesus when he comes again. And I wanted to help the children. I had a lot of things happening in my life, and I could relate to a lot of people. So when I was doing a camp down with Pastor Eddie down from Woy Church, we decided to start a club, and we didn't know what club. So can we run the movie? I made a short little movie. This is my car. I prayed that I'd get a car, and I got a car. This is the group down there. This is on my way up to Stewart's Point. So the movie goes a bit fast because I didn't have enough time to slow it down. So these are all the pretty pictures I'd see. A couple of movies here. There's the top of at Laurelton. I thought was really nice. I went for a push bike ride, 35 k's, and in just over an hour, it nearly killed me. And some of the sights I saw. So this is a bit of top of Laurelton again. But it was quite a good journey. I went up to Stewart's Point to do the Pathfinder course. You had to do this course for Pathfinders to be able to think. Look at these fish. They were really weird. And this is during the time this year when they had all that rain up there. And what do you do in a rain? I couldn't figure it out. I thought, with rain you go looking for what? Waterfalls. Plenty of waterfalls up at Dorrigo. So here's a couple of waterfalls. There was so much rain. The clouds were up there. There was a lot of clouds everywhere. There was a lot of rain. But every time I got my push bike, I took my push bike in that little car. And every time, this is the 2 fish I caught. I prayed that I wanted to catch 2 fish. So this is just one of the waterfalls across, goes under the road, fortunately. This is away to the lookouts, and this pine trees. They're not they're palm trees. They're about 50 foot high. You think they're little, but they're enormous. So this is a walkway you can do through the forest up at the top of Dorrigo there. And you can spend hours there. It's like going back to prehistoric times. You look around for the dinosaurs, you think they're just behind you. It was just prehistoric. It's never been logged in its lifetime, so these trees are thousands of years old. It's the only place in Australia that's never been logged. So it's well worth a visit. This is just how tall these trees can go. They go up pretty high. Oh, that's a rock. You can't see a rock. That was a rock on the road. It was half the size of my car. This is another waterfall. Yeah, I like waterfalls. The sound of the waterfalls. They're very beautiful. And it was raining but every time I put my camera out, it stopped raining. God blessed me so much on this trip. It rained and rained and rained and rained. Everything got flooded. I couldn't get back. Then I went to Brisbane after Stewart's Point. These are some people doing some rowing around the river there. I think this is a boat. This is outside my thing. So I had a boat parked outside my hotel room. This is a place where they had all these things. They had a kite festival and still clouds in the air, all these big funny kites. And this is what I've been doing this year. This is abseiling. So I'm at Avondale at the moment, and I'm doing a diploma course. So this is a part of this year. We weren't very good at, as you can see, we were a bit slow to take off. This is how the course, there are some of my buddies that were there. And we're still a bit slow. This is at the beginning of the year, but one of the guys showed us, yeah, this is how you should be doing it. So I think it's the next one that you showed us how we should be abseiling, and it's quite a different challenge when you know what you're doing, when you don't. But I'm happy to say I got my abseiling certificate this year, so I can take people out that I've not. That's him, just straight down. That was so easy. Experts make everything look easy, don't they? And then we did rock climbing, and then that's me. It's a bit hard to tell, I'm in the back. Then we had trips down to National Park, down at Audley. So this is just the group that went down to the National Park, and the views we get. It's a beautiful place to go. We had an overnight camp. There's the tents. It's still clouds everywhere. This is 6 a.m. in the morning. I was the only one awake, taking some photos of the storm at sea about a kilometre off. This is the last day there, and we were going through the bush. It was beautiful countryside. That sign said "Don't jump off," and the guy jumped off. This is up in the Blue Mountains. So this is some of the waterfalls we had. We had another 2-day trip up there, and then it closed in as we went back up, and it just closed in, and then we had the helicopter rescue. So this is in Avondale Club. This is how we practice before we actually go out. So we practice. Then we go sea kayaking, which is a lot of fun. And this is how we're supposed to rescue a boat that's tipped upside down. But you can just stand up in this water, but you're not supposed to be in water that you can stand up because it makes it too easy. Go on, flip it over. You can do it, guys. But we had a lot of fun doing sea kayaking, and everything we did was all fun. I just had so much fun and enjoyment and praising God. The whole fellowship was up there with God and Jesus, back into nature. So if you've got kids who want to do a sport, I should have done this, 30 or 40 years ago, did this course. And I'd be having all that fun instead of smoking drugs and drinking alcohol all that time. I was wasting my time. I was filling in time until I died, I thought, but now God's got me on a different journey. These are the people that were going on bushwalks. This is just at the back here, down, some people get angry. This is just down the back here at Gosford. We did surfing. Then the kayak goes upside down. You do a bit of surfing on the kayaks. And we go out in all sorts of weather. So we go out in big waves and little waves. And the big waves are a challenge. So I don't know if you can see it. They're catching a wave out coming in there. But it's all dangerous as well. If you flip upside down, you can hurt yourself really badly. So we had to make sure that we were always safe and always be on the water side of the boat, because if a wave hit the boat and you're on the wrong side, the boat can just knock into you and knock you unconscious. Looked like they were going to crash, but they survived to go out and do it again. And that's how we get trained. We get trained in all sorts of conditions, because you don't know when a storm's going to hit or whatever. And this is up at Stewart's Point. I was doing the, what do you call it, that thing there. So the kids are, the Flying Fox, the kids were having fun there at Big Camp. So if you've never been to Big Camp, this is my first time. Turn around. Look, they go upside down. They don't care what they do. And after that, because she went upside down, I had to go upside down. Couldn't let them beat me. And this is at Stewart's Point again in the morning, just as the sun was rising. So these are just still photos I put together quickly as the sun would come up. I love sunrises and sunsets. The Lord shows you how wonderful our planet really is, and it takes away all the badness of you can think of. It makes you feel really good, sets you up in the day to start. Here the sun does come up. There it is, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you go, oh, wow. And it shows you what the glory of God can do, that how big a sun is. And you can look at it there and not hurt your eyes because the water vapour is taking away all the bad stuff. And then I went to the Big Banana with the kids up at Stewart's Point. So these are the kids. They picked me out. We're only supposed to have 3. I ended up with about 5 or 6, and they all picked me out, so I couldn't say no. So these are the girls. The boys are somewhere else. I think I got a picture of the whole group. There's a picture of the whole group, and we're a bit funny. We went ice skating. This is another abseiling. We were taken to a place where, oh, do you want to jump off a cliff? Here's a 10-metre cliff. Let's see it. My legs were really wobbly, and eventually I jumped off. But it's the scary part is waiting to jump. Once you actually jump, it's only 1.5 seconds into the water, and that doesn't hurt. But it's the fear of looking over and there we go. So even though we were supposed to be doing our lessons, we were always having fun and mucking around, and that's a good way to learn, I think, is to have fun and muck around. Oh yes, we like jumping off the cliff there. Everyone had a turn. This is another day we got stuck. The guys got stuck in the mud literally, and
all these
they were
people
having
stuck
trouble
in the mud.
getting out.
Go on, do the leaning forward and back.
And
That's
this is
like
how
that
the
guy
magicians do it.
Look at this.
Oh, you beat
He's a hoodie now.
Yeah, we all thought that was
Look at
funny.
this.
Just another day at the office. Yeah, some people work for a living. That's why they don't pay you much, because it's not called work.
My legs are locked in. Otherwise I'd be flat in my back. We should do limbo this afternoon, tonight. Yeah. Around the fire.
I want to see if anyone can get out.
Let's go with that.
I bet you can't.
Well, they all eventually got out, of course, otherwise they'd still be there.
There we are. If you're up to your ankles, you can get out easy.
But it's just nice to be in. This is how we did rope setups. We had to do hauling systems, and we had all these people. We had birthday parties, and we even went sea kayaking in Sydney Harbour. We went underneath the pier at there you can see it at Luna Park, just for fun, as you say. And we all survived. But we all had a good time, and I'm still having a good time. Next year I do the diploma, and I'm thinking about going to university. They've got a new course up there that instead of working for someone in the sport, I can be a manager. And I thought, yeah, I'd like to be a manager and tell people like me what to do, and then
It's a pretty green
get
under
paid
here.
lots of money for it. So this is under Manly Wharf. Not Manly, Luna Park Wharf. Because we didn't want to get run over by the ferries there, so we just took a shortcut past the ferries. And this is just about the end of the movie. Oh, I've taken a bit more time than I thought. But I just want to say that I've had a lovely time. The reason why I'm here today is because I prayed for a church in my own backyard. And our brother Conrad, he came to my place and he said, look, they're building a church in my own backyard. The same words that I've been praying for, that this church and the entrance were getting together. I spent an hour going to War Church, and now with the new church, I only spent 3 minutes getting to my new church.
What are you up to? Training. Oh, you like
That
us.
was the
We're
police
training
doing
too.
a drill as well. So that's me in a nutshell. That's where I'm up to today. So I'm happy to
He needs mouth
be
to
with the
mouth.
Pathfinders when they start here at this church.
Thank you very much, Donald, for that inspiring message. Isn't it wonderful what God can do? And we're so grateful that you've chosen to join us here at Erina, our family. It's lovely to have you.